Noel Nation, welcome into this week's instant reaction as Florida State is now 0-3 on the year. 0-3. I'll tell you what, I'm going to open up the show like this. Deja vu, folks. Deja vu. We are right back to 2021. That's where we're at with this program. That's where we're at. We are at 2021. We came into this season without a quarterback. Without a quarterback. We can go through all the different failures. We can go through first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, the whole game. Your wide receivers got to make plays too. Your running backs have to do better. Your offensive line has to do better. Your tight ends have to do better. Like, all those things are true. But you can't wait. You can't go 3 quarters trying to get a little momentum. Like, if 3 possessions, 4 possessions goes and guys don't get any targets, the ball doesn't come their way, it puts a stress on the entire team. It makes the entire team tight. They are completely discombobulated. How bad is Brock in practice that he doesn't get a drive? How fucking bad? Excuse my language, Mark. This is really tough doing this. I'm going to try to do it well to fit the Voice of College Football channel. Course right here on the Voice of College Football. FSU just hit 5,000 subscribers. We'll be here every week for the season. We're also simulcasting to my channel as well this week. Folks talking about Brock and Luke. Yeah, how bad are they in practice? We also have Trevor Jackson, the true freshman, who could, people were talking about starting. I think that's ludicrous, but put a package in there for him. And here I have a theory. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna just go tell you, I have no information from inside, nothing. Haven't talked to anybody close to the program. I asked one person who also didn't have it, and he wasn't sure. He said he didn't notice it. But I'm watching that game, and I've been asking for the first 2 weeks, why aren't we lining Toafili up in the Wildcat? That's obvious run, and we've always been able to run out of that formation. Obvious run, but since it's a Wildcat, you have the extra blocker. He's really good, has great patience. Dominated the ACC championship game with it. That's what moved the ball. That's what won us that game. Why the hell haven't we seen it? Toafili gets 1 carry in the first half, maybe 2, but the first one goes for 24 yards, and we don't see him for 30 minutes of real-time action. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Here's the theory that I have. Toafili looked weird as hell on that 24-yard run. It was like he was dragging his feet or struggling to get him off the ground. I don't know if he was high-stepping or he's got some kind of new thing going on, but Toafili did not look like himself. Yet when he got the ball, he ran it well. He took it outside if it needed to go outside. The big series that everybody was really pissed at, I don't remember which quarter, right before the half ended, beginning of the second half, whatever it was. They gave it to Keziah Holmes on second down, stuff. Third down, they throw a screen pass to him. He's wide open, and drops it. The drop, that's just par for the course. That's what it's been all year. He's wide open. All you do is throw your hands up. But the previous play, the A gap and the B gap, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I don't think they had a tight end, so there isn't a C gap. There's not a third gap over there. It's just the edge. And I'll have to go back and look at the film. But I'm almost positive it's the best. Our offensive line has set the edge all year. That right edge was set clean, and I didn't have all 22, but just on the TV copy, there was not a single defender in frame. And he slammed it right into the B gap. There was no gap. He stopped and stared at it and ran straight, he course corrected instead of bouncing it. So and it's just little things like that over and over and over. We got a little spark there in the third quarter, and I'm sitting there. I opened the show saying we're back in 2021. Was this the Louisville game? It seemed a little bit like it in the second half. You got a spark. DJU is out there laughing, hitting passes and things of that nature. Made a little comeback. We got some stops. We had a chance to win it at the end, but it's a G5 team. It wasn't garbage time. but they obviously were trying to let the game go. They were going to, whatever, let us stinking dodge, get some yards. The game, never got out of their hands. I get, or at least I think I know why Mike Norvell's sticking with DJU. He brought the guy in. You made all these promises. You had all these, ideas, and when you haven't, you barely known this guy for so long. You bring him in, things don't start off great, but you've talked about all these things about the work's going to come through, just persevere in all these things. See, you can't yank him immediately. I get it. Like, I get that element. But you can't put Brock in for one freaking drive. Brock doesn't deserve one drive. Like, what is he doing in practice? What is Brock doing in practice? I've seen all the tape that the media shows, and his balls have looked better than DJ's all year. Now, I'm not saying he threw it in better motion, whatever, just the ball coming out of his hand. It's been wounded ducks all year from DJ. The best ball in those little clips you get from practice has been from Trevor. The ball flies out of Trevor's hands. Another reason you want to see it. And I don't know if they're Justin Luke's, release and things of that nature. And again, we haven't got to see him scrimmage. I don't think he's anywhere close. That's personal. Like, I'd love to see Luke get a chance, but it just, in my opinion, as a true freshman, with him only playing quarterback for 2 years in high school and the limited things playing in a running style offense, he's one of those guys, not a project, but certainly, I could be wrong. Maybe he comes in and he's a gamer. But yeah, if you want to give him a shot, give him a shot. But Brock Glenn, like, we've already seen Brock Glenn out there. He started the games last year. Like, I don't understand why you don't want to give him a shot. It's not like DJU. Like, what's the ceiling? What are you waiting for? Like, if he gets it together and he is who you thought he was, by the time that we get to those big games, well, that's still not enough to win those games with this team that we have. It's not. You're going to get blown out by any team that's worth a damn. Now, I talked about this on the game. If you guys watched our preview, on Tuesday, we had Frank Bonner, probably the top Memphis guy, reporting on their team on the show. And then Friday, we had Doug Rohan on. We talked to him a little bit about it. You saw me on the Voice of College Football right here, Wednesday at 6 Eastern. I said, Memphis, they're more like us, our offense. They more throw to set up the run. They're not a team that if, they see Florida State, that's their weakness, they're going to run it 40, 50 times, just do what BC and Georgia Tech did. They weren't going to do that. So that is where I thought we had a chance. And Frank Bonner, congratulations on your win, bro. He pretty much agreed with me. We didn't have the same predictions or whatnot, but yeah, like, they're going to throw the ball. Even if that's your absolute best strength and you have no run defense, Memphis is going to throw the ball. That's what they need to do. They've got Hennigan coming in 4,000 yards, yada, yada. So look, they did it. They gave us a chance to win this game. Memphis played the exact game they needed to play for us to win this game. Hennigan didn't ball out. I'm going to stop being negative for 5 seconds. How about that defense? The defense at least showed some fire. I was scared we were going to be like just completely screwed because the linebackers at one point, Juice got hurt. Blake went lipping off. Cam Riley got hurt. I don't know if Riley's all right. Thank goodness Juice came back out, had a big interception. He pretty much made the play that cost us the game with DJ Lundy on the other side. That's another thing. It's looking like 20 and 28. That's your linebacker core. DJ's got all this experience and things of that nature, and he did much, much better. I'll have to go watch the film. I'm not the best film expert, but you know how hard it is to watch. It's really hard to watch without the all 22 to know what everybody's doing. But they're just going to pick him out and put him on those pass plays. You saw the same exact play on the opposite side of the field. Pick on one play, game-winning first down on the other side. And it's like he took 3 steps forward. Like, I don't know. And again, I'm not a linebacker and whatever. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. But it's obviously the quarterback trying to set up this screen. He's leveraging the defensive end, waiting to throw it. And he threw it. It's like it's the one guy. And it's like a center fielder catching a pop fly. DJ Lundy comes running into second base. Like, no, you got to fucking take an angle. When the ball's in there, then you can break. Like, oh, man, it's tough. It's tough. The defense took a major step today. This was my first thought at the very beginning of the game. The defensive line was getting 2 and 3 yards into the defensive backfield. for the entire first half. There was one drive that maybe wasn't great. They had a few flat moments, maybe where they got put out there 2 times in a row. But the defense, we're going to find out if Memphis's offensive line is just Swiss cheese, or if our offense like really, or defensive line really took a step. I think they did. Pat Payton, I don't know what to think about the batting balls. I don't. It's really effective. It was really effective against this quarterback. This quarterback, it was really effective, but he's super quick to do that, man. Super quick. It's like a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And once you jump, you can't set the edge anymore. You can't do this and that. And eventually Hennigan figured out in the second half, when Peyton would jump, if he could, he'd just wait for him to land and, or wait for him to be in the air and then throw it over his head. So, but definitely love the effort on the defensive line. I thought the effort was on the defensive line massively better. Way, 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 way better. So that was good. The offensive line was just inconsistent. They had some great sets. I mean, some great ones. They had some great pass sets. They had some great run plays. But then they also had some absolute terrible, 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 terrible pass protection in certain circumstances. But again, when your quarterback is letting you down, all that stuff shines. Like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back and watch 2013 and 2014 FSU. Now, of course, those weren't great offensive lines. 2013 was pretty damn great, but like Jimbo never had a great, just mashy offensive line, but he had pro guys out there. What made Jameis so great is he was constantly like throwing Hail Marys with somebody hanging off his waist, missing tackles, making big plays. Like, that's part of it. You can't, like, you have to be mobile. You have to be able to miss guys. Guys are going to come free. They're going to send more than one guy than you can protect. Like on that last sack, one of the last sacks of the game, I think they had 6 in. I don't know if they had a tight end. They had at least 6. It might have been max. They might have had a tight end as well. But the running back, he's back there. He's waiting. And the linebackers, he's hiding behind the line. It's a delayed blitz. He sees the guy off the right side. Running back goes and takes care of him. DJU, you got to know. Like, you got to know there's a clock in your head. There's somebody coming. You can't just stand there for 3.5 seconds and think it's all good. Like, I mean, you look up, there's only 3 guys in coverage. What does that mean? It means everybody's coming. And I sound really ridiculous, guys. Again, I didn't get to play pro football. I just studied the game, talked to a lot of people who did get to play it. I love it. I've loved Florida State for a long time. And check this out. I love DJU. I love his dad. I think they're a great family. Really excited to get them in here. But look, it's football. You can't polish a turd. You can't turn chicken shit into chicken salad. None of that stuff. It's reality. And it has been really, really bad. It's not what we saw at Clemson. It's not what we saw at Oregon State. Now, there's this narrative out there, people saying that I said DJU was better than Cam Ward. Let me just go ahead and dispel that bullshit right now, because I never said that. Now, there would be nothing wrong with saying that. Plenty of people did say that. If that was your opinion, that's fine. People are wrong every year, but that wasn't my opinion. I always wanted Cam Ward from step one, but then it turned into a tire fiasco, whatever. We weren't going to wait. They wanted to go ahead and get a quarterback in. Looks like they should have waited. Obviously now, when you look back, the only thing I said is looking at, past history and what Miami has done in their style of play, matched with what Cam Ward had done with turnovers and things of that nature. On paper, it looked scary. It looked rough. Looked like it would have been a lot better fit for him at FSU. What I did say is, with where the quarterback went, I think it was better fits. I think it's a better fit for DJU at FSU than Cam Ward at Miami. Yeah, I was fucking wrong about that. Excuse my language again. I see the Gator fans are in here like, y'all are just gluttons for punishment. And your name's George too. Like, it's got to be rough. Like, I know y'all are struggling too over there, and you're going to come over here and feel our pain. I don't know. Maybe it makes you feel better, but welcome. Everybody's welcome. Tennessee fans want to talk crap. Cal fans, holy shit, we got Cal next week. Is that next week? We got Cal. Watch out. Watch out. How's Boston College doing? I saw them beating up on not Auburn. Who were they beating up on? BC was beating up on Missouri early, and then the last I looked, it was 14-14. That would be really nice to just mop up some Missouri Tiger tears. If BC could get that win, all of a sudden that looks like a good loss, a quality loss. But guys, if you're just joining us, it's deja vu. I said, everybody, hold your horses after the first game. This isn't 2021. This isn't 1918, and even, maybe not even 2020. But I was wrong. It is. We are slammed back to 2021. We're 0-3. We don't have a quarterback, and trying to figure some things out. I really, for the life of me, here's another angle. Maybe Mike doesn't want to make the change because Alex Atkins isn't there. Now, as Category 5 says, BC lost. So I'll get there, Kev. I see your comment, but let me. Well, shit, I didn't forgot where I was going. I'll just go with yours. Kev says, no, it's worse. No, it's worse than 2022. I don't think so, but yeah, in a way, it's worse because in 2021 we figured out in the fourth game who our quarterback was of the future, and that's who we went with. Mackenzie Milton experiment over. Jordan Travis was the man. Now, in this situation, they aren't giving, like, the sophomore ain't getting reps, or the redshirt freshman at all. It's just been DJ the entire time. And they trust him or whatever. But when do you decide to start playing for the future, Mike? Like, ACC title, that shit's gone. Out the window. Playoffs, gone. Out the window. BCS Bowl, gone. Out the window. You're lucky to get a bowl game. So why in the hell? This is what I'm going to be saying next week. I gave him the grace. I kind of, like I said, I would love to see Brock, but I didn't see it in this game. There's just too many things, Atkins ain't there, yada yada. If I'm gonna make a prediction here. Whatever the next game, I believe it's Cal. I think they still are gonna give DJU the first half with Alex Atkins back. Maybe they give him the whole game. We'll see if it's a completely different team or not. I don't have my hopes up, but some of the fumbling around on the offensive line and things, hopefully get better. But that's it. The Cal game, like if you lose that Cal game, and Brock Glenn does not get a couple drives, I'm not going to go there yet. But it's a big fucking problem. Excuse my language. Like, there's a big problem because, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. Now, the offensive line, I've kind of backed them up because, it's like the easiest thing. Everybody's on the offensive line's ass. Well, Atkins ain't there. And the quarterbacks and the running backs have made this offensive line look exponentially worse than what it really is. Now, with that being said, the offensive line also sucks, comparatively. So, but here's my problem with the offensive line. I think the offensive line could be decent, but they're rotating it, not even hockey changes like we talked about before the season. I mean, you're like on your 10th offensive snap, and you've got the only person left is a center. No wonder the guys are getting penalties and things. How could you possibly know your fucking assignment if you're a right guard one play and left guard the next play, and you're in on one drive, you get something going, and then your ass is on the bench the next drive? They got to tighten that rotation up. Like, I don't give some guys a chance. Let them get hurt. If they get hurt, next man up. Like, I don't. And you see it. You see some good drives. There are some times when there's great protection. Golly, you guys got any questions? I don't want to just sit here and cry and bitch. There was great, like, and oh my God, you finally throw the ball down the field to Malik Benson, and he's exactly who we thought he was. He's making plays all over the place. Like, holy shit. Players are going to have magical injuries to save eligibility. Now, I was about to come on here and brag about a safety, because I'll tell you what, Shaheem Brown wasn't there, and that's the best our safeties have looked on first watch all year, and it ain't close. Not close. Now, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Memphis plays into exactly what FSU's defense is built for and what they want to do. Basically, their own offense, the kind of, forward thinking, whatever it is, whatever you want to call their offense. So that helped, and it's also, for whatever what do they call it now? G5. It's a G5 program. It's not an FBS program. Gary West says he heard Shaheem was suspended. I wouldn't doubt it. There was rumors out there that of the 4 guys, I don't know if Jeremiah Byers is one of them again because he was out last week. But yeah, rumors 2 or 3 of the guys that were out, it was injured, because they're suspended or whatever the case may be. But yeah, Kevin Hickson says, is Randy gone this afternoon with all the missed assignments? I have to go watch it back. His linebackers played pretty damn good. DJ Lundy just can't cover. It wasn't the linebackers that were making all the giant mistakes. It was the DBs couldn't get on the same page. It was 2 DBs going after the same target. It wasn't 2 linebackers for the most part. And let me just Blake Nicholson on that final play that DJ Lundy messed up. He was trying his damnedest to push him out there. Pre-snap, post-snap. Dude, go, go, go. And he's what, peeking inside. Go. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at it. But to me, Juice and Blake, I think you find your 2 guys if they can stay healthy. And yeah, the pass game, yeah, there were some issues, but I didn't see anybody just like completely destroy a linebacker. It was always Azaria Thomas, yada yada. Now, maybe there was supposed to be a linebacker there with his back on that crosser. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I have to go watch the all 22 and things of that nature. But judging on the scale of what I've seen this season, the linebackers far and away the best they've been, along with the defensive line and the safeties. I mean, they gave up 20 points, but whatever, stopped them 2 times in the red zone, all these things. Like, they gave them, started off the field, turned it over on their own red zone. All these, I can't even remember the different things that happened. KJ Kirkland, he played well at safety. The safeties were good, but you have a chance right there with all the time in the world. Was it 3 or 4 minutes? You've got them 4th and 9. They're punting. You got punt safe on. You don't have punt block. Punt, return, safe. Offsides. And that's how DJ Lundy ended up not making that play, but he should have never even had to make it. I think Maury Smith might have had another. I don't know if he had a penalty, but I know Ferguson had another one. Ferguson really struggling with penalties, holding, false starts. I have to go back and look how 75 looked and why Ferguson gets in there so much, why they switch it around so much. I don't know. I have to look at it. Now, Kev says, when all the staff get pay raises and players get NIL, I don't see the dog in anyone. Yeah, you definitely don't see the dog in anyone. And I'll say this about the staff and the pay raises and the contracts and things of this nature. I can go dig the tape up from whatever the month or so was after the season when we talk about what's going on recruiting on the field. Like, we wanted changes. I'm not going to sit here and name them. Look it, I'll name them. I wanted Randy Shannon to be replaced. I wanted a long, hard conversation between Odell and Pap. I love them both. One of them's got to go. You got to have somebody that is that guy on the edge, the leading edge, the cutting edge, a young guy who can go get guys, defensive linemen, get them in the room first. You can coach them up and all that stuff. And I love Odell. He's been here forever. Poochis is on a crazy run of the DNs he's gotten out of the portal. You can't have the same guy. You got to figure out something. You have to have a hungry ass sophomore or freshman who's pissed off because these transfers have come in or whatever the case, and he's foaming at the mouth for a rep. And he's foaming at the mouth for a rep, and you come out starting the season like we did against Georgia Tech and Boston College, and you turn him loose, and you're investing in your future. But we do not have that. None of the younger bodies that we have brought in, they're just nowhere near close to it. Byron Turner's pretty good. He's pretty close to that. 95, of course, has looked pretty damn good, but it's just nowhere close. Nowhere close. And obviously that hit rate on the portal is a whole other conversation. We were on an insane, crazy hit rate. I thought it would revert back to the mean or the median. I thought that. I never thought it would go this far. But it's a combination of 2 things, I think. I think the competition. I think Mike Norvell pretty much taught everybody how to kill it in the portal the past 2 or 3 years. And to a certain extent, there was a lot of people who didn't want to use it. So they took advantage of something. The year they got Jermaine Johnson and Johnny Wilson and these guys, they were not very heralded guys. They weren't this. They probably would have been 4 or 5 stars this past year, like Marvin Jones Jr. was, and a lot of the guys we. If you on paper, far and away the best transfer class we ever got. 10 blue chips, 7 more guys with all this kind of experience and things of that nature, plus young guys. Well, Sean Murphy at linebacker has been hurt. Boy, what a disappointment Roydell Williams has been. I love you, guy. He looked a little better towards the end, but my word, first play of the game, fumble. He broke a few tackles. He showed some fire today, so I was happy for that. But yeah, guys, it's a full on rebuild. And the problem is your quarterback that you got out there isn't somebody that you're going to have next year. So every single play, every snap, every drive, every game you send out there, you're taking reps away from your young guys. Like, do you not believe Brock Glenn has a chance? Will he never start at quarterback at Florida State? Is that what you think? Because if that's what you think, gosh dang, we're in trouble, man. FSU had more power and speed compared to Memphis, yet still lost. That's fair. Mike Norvell is still him. I see people saying. Him is pretty tough. Him is it's kind of blasphemous, anyways. But yeah, I don't. He's not him right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I'm still a big fan, and I think we're gonna be good. I think we're gonna be good in 25 and 26. Pretty good. But it's guys, we're on the same track we were in 2021. It is what it is. If he does everything right, we do everything right. We got a good base. We'll go into next year hoping for 9 or 10 wins and stock up for a run in 26. That's just where we're at. Like, unless after the season they decide, screw it, we don't care what anybody says. We're not going to change the staff. We're just going to offer. We're going to get together 50 million and offer all the top players when they hit the portal, like the last couple years. The 21, 22, like we got the first guys, pretty much all the best guys. I'll never forget in 2022. I had just started the site and I was into it. I was blowing up DMs, text messages, chat messengers, all the different locations, pins dropped on Twitter, and I predicted every single guy we got down to I think I only missed 2. And I had them all ahead of time, just, no secret insiders, just doing my very best to figure out what was going on with visits. I found out Casey Roddick was already living in Tallahassee for 2 weeks before anybody really even mentioned him. There were certain things that you knew were happening, and it was big. And we were right about all those guys. Everything we talked about, what they could do this, they could do that. They came in and either achieved or overachieved. Some like Casey Roddick weren't great, but Keon Coleman, all those guys. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, the mercenaries are gone, so now you're screwed." That's not what it is. It's not. And the portal ain't sustainable. Yep. The guys that left, that went in the draft last year, those were all portal guys that were in their second, third, fourth year for the majority. You had Keon and Braden that were 1-year rentals. Jordan had been here 5 freaking years. Johnny Wilson was here 2 years. Trey Benson was here 2 years. Jerry and Jones was here 3, 4 years. Fabian Lovett was here 3, 4 years. He didn't get drafted, but you know what I'm saying. It isn't. Kalen DeLoach was here. He was a high school guy since 2019. Do you understand? It's the 5th year of the program. That's your rebuilding year. Period. You go to you get a bit of a rebuilding. But if your high school recruiting is like Georgia, you can keep running. Or Ohio State, you can keep running. You drop it down to the next 4 or 5 teams. Well, you don't just keep running like that at a national championship pace. You're going to have a down year on that 4th or 5th year, depending on when you hit and you lose all those guys. In 2012, we had them. We had the high school recruiting down. There was no transfer portal, but we had those guys taken in 2012, and then turned around in 2013. We reloaded and just bam, we ran roughshod and even did it a 3rd year in 2014. That I thought that's where we were. I thought we were going to be there, and on paper we are. They had a plan. They thought they did. They had that team, all those things, but they were wrong. They were wrong. People talking about DJU is never him in college football. That's fine. We didn't need him to be him. We needed a game manager. If you swap the quarterbacks on these two teams, FSU wins by 40. What's the score? Give me the score in the chat, guys. If Florida State had Hennigan and Memphis had DJU, what was the score today? Oh, he was out there. Just couldn't get the ball within 100,000 freaking yards of him. But I really want to know that. It says I got 40 people in here. I'm not sure how close this is because I'm simulcasting, so I don't know if I'm seeing my number or Mark's number or both of them. But guys, if you are in the lobby, either at the Voice of College Football or the Renegade Report, please hit that like and subscribe. Here at the Voice of College Football, the FSU Voice of College Football, we just hit 5,000 subscribers. We're going for 6,000. Over at the Renegade Report, we're going for 3,000. So we're getting really close. King Gamut says 5610. Kevin Hickson says 5612. Yeah, I don't. And it's like, people go nuts. They talk crap about this reason or this thing, why it ruined the game. And in our group chat, like, yeah, they're terrible, but I'm saying things. I'm providing context. It's like people go to the O line as the worst, but again, this is the same O line that went 13-0, and maybe that's why Jordan ended up getting hurt and everything was such a struggle. We had to have that playmaker, and all. Maybe it was just way overrated. I mean, obviously it was. But here's the thing. There are plenty of opportunities. There are plenty of clean pockets, plenty of big holes. Again, like that 2nd and 4, where the offensive line seals it perfect. The edge is cleaned up, and the dude slams it into the B gap. Like, there's plenty of that shit going on too. So I'd say DJU number 1. I guess you could put the offensive line next. I think the wide receivers have been worse and tight ends, but part of that is like people hammer on the drops, but again, because I didn't play football, I can only imagine what it's like to go all this time in practice, all these drives to start a season, get down in a hole, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter, this ball starts hitting you in the hands, and you're so scared. They got the yips, guys. This team is worse than Memphis. Worse. But this team is 3 times more talented than Memphis. Like, it was clear. We had the talent edge. They just sat there and they didn't do anything special. They played backyard football and just gave what we gave them. Running tight ends on crossers all the way across the field, knowing that some switch isn't going to get made. Running screens, knowing if you just put, they're not going to, DJU. Here's what the straw that broke the camel's back on me. It was like 3 plays in a row, but they called a screen to Jalen Brown over there. Hike. I don't know what happened to the dude that was blocking him, but the DB just juked him and literally is standing right in front of him. Like, I'm looking at my camera. This is me. Here's the wide receiver. Like, I got your ass. Or the DB. DJU throws it to him. It's a miracle the dude didn't pick it off. I don't know why he didn't pick it off. But Jalen Brown, got hurt the whole 9 yards. It was like, if that would have been a corner worth of shit, that was a pick 6. Like, how can you, he couldn't have looked. It was Douglas that was blocking. He got completely destroyed. But how do you not see the other? Like, as a quarterback, you have to have good peripheral vision. Like me, I understand. Like I said, I didn't play football. I did play football with the football players and stuff. Like in PE, we had a thing called Panther Ball. Every school has it, where you're allowed to do forward passes, and sometimes you would do some actual 11-on-11. They would screw around and play. So yeah, I've played quarterback and been like, oh yeah, that guy's wide open, and threw it, and here comes Milton High School's starting safety, boop, touchdown. How the hell do you do that, man? Every time I throw it, you're like a magnet. So I get it. I'm not that guy, but I wasn't a 5-star and a 1,000 recruit and Clemson and Oregon State and comes to Florida State for like. I could go out there, is what I'm saying, and throw it to the other team. And you can't keep waiting for 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter when you're pretty much out of the game and teams start playing soft Like, you can't. We need a quarterback who is going to be a gamer, who is going to be tough and gritty and make some off schedule plays. That is the only chance for this effing offense. And it's just not DJU. The book is out. If you send everybody, you're either going to stop the run because you're, unless it's an all out blitz, which, it's not a run blitz. It's just an all-out blitz. Yeah, if the running back breaks through, that could be a touchdown. But the majority of these blitzes that teams are running, putting 8 and 9 guys in the box with 2 deep safeties or 1 at least, it's like you can't. There's nowhere to go. There's no chance. They're either going to sack you or they're going to stop the run. You have to be able to beat the blitz. You have to either squirm away from it or throw directly behind it. Well, throwing directly behind it, that is not in his skill set whatsoever. And that's fine. You don't have to. But if that's not in your skill set, you got to break away and be able to throw it downfield. And again, he made a couple of pretty good plays, but it's not like on his mind the majority of the time. And it's like, I know what happens to him because when he finally does, he does that, tries to throw it with somebody hanging off of him. It's a pick and the game's completely over. But at that point in time, when he tries it, that's not it. That's not, and I feel like I'm really being mean. I'm not. I'm just, letting it out. What I saw. Anything you guys saw, again, throw it up there. I'm just trying to make it to an hour here. Don't have call-ins today. The daggone phone's dead. But yeah. Y'all were laughing at Colorado losing to ranked Nebraska, and you lost to an FCS. Dude, when did you fall off a turnip truck yesterday, man? Come on. Come on. Everybody's laughing at Colorado. They do it to themselves. Just like we did it to ourselves. They talk a whole lot of shit. And I'm here to tell you, Colorado is a lot farther away than Florida State is. A lot. A lot. A lot. They're not even close. Okay. As a program. They may be a little bit better this year, but it's just because they have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. That program is a complete and total joke. Dion will be gone, and they will be terrible next year. I'm not going to back off that just because I was wrong about Florida State. What have they ever done? Jackson State did pretty good on the FCS level. They legitimately had like top tier talent. When they got to the playoffs, I forget what the FCS championship game is. I don't think they actually won it. Maybe they won it one of the 2 years, but they struggled in some of that. But yeah, it's like it is what it is. I'm a fan of Dion as a Florida State player. I'm a fan of all the stuff he does to help those kids and things of that nature. And I'm equal opportunity. I retweet stuff that he says all the time that I say, okay, he's right there. But also, I don't like you can't come out here and say it's about business and you can't worry about it's not about the social media and it's not about this when you come out there and do what you do. Trashing players and wiping out an entire O-line, bringing a whole nother line in year 2, knowing you're not going to be there in year 3. Some of the stories and things of that nature, it's just ridiculous. Now, I'm not a fan of the assholes that are out there pretending like he's allowing Uzis and stuff and they're outlaw with guns and all this. That's pure and total BS scumbag behavior. I've heard zero anything like that out of Colorado. It's an open carry state. People go fishing and hunting, and they have their guns with them. They have concealed permits if they're allowed to have it, yada, yada. So I won't go down that road. But yeah, I just think it's obnoxious, and I think it's all about building hype and a brand for 2 or 3 guys. Maybe Jimmy Horn sneaks in there, but I'm just not a fan of it. Maybe I'm just a hater. I'm a big badass when I'm 2-0, but then as soon as I lose a game or something says something bad about me, I'm gonna call him out. It's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, F all that. At least Mike gets up there and owns his shit. He says it's my fault. It's on me 100%. And guess what? It is, Mike. He knows it. The standard's the standard. But I keep going back to this Alex Atkins thing because you have to wonder. I think people really downplay that. But go back and look at 21 and what our offense took on Kenny Dillingham's beliefs and his things. He pushed for those things that he believed would work. And however the situation was, he affects the play calling. Alex Atkins affects the rotation on the offensive line. He affects the play calling. Mike Norvell's calling the plays, but here's my opinion. I don't think there is an SOB out there on that sideline that has the cojones or the gumption, the credibility to walk up to Mike Norvell and say, dude, what in the hell are you doing? Run the ball. What the hell are you doing? Put in Brock. Hey, I got this thing that I've been working on. I'm looking at their defense. I think we could bring in Brock for one play, and they're going to think we run this and get him with this. I don't think there's anybody there that can do that. I think it's all on Mike's shoulders. And just like these players that have the yips, I think he does too. It's got to be hard no matter what you call it fails. You go conservative, it fails. You go hard, it fails. You put this in, it fails. And again, I don't like they're playing for the confidence. You saw it a little bit there towards the end of the game, into the third, into the fourth. Like, if they could have pulled this win away, I would have sat here and said, look, I'm going to talk all the crap about DJU, but I can see why Mike did it. You got this now. Alex Atkins comes back, and you have a chance. Maybe you got a little confidence. You built something that you can run the rest of the year. But with how that game ended, it is what it is. Like, you got to time for Brock to get out there. People just stopping in to tell me what position units are garbage. I appreciate it. Oh, man. We underestimated a lot of things, man. You get 10 guys drafted, 3 others go on to compete for spots. Would have made rosters. A couple of them got hurt. You see Jerry and Jones out there running stride for stride with Tyreek Hill. You see Fisk, you see Verse tearing it up. Stuff. We underestimated the loss of the leadership, the mental, all of it. And I think Mike was just too loyal to the staff, man. It's hard to make changes when you're 13-0, 13-1. It's hard to run people off, but that's what needed to happen. And it's clear and it's obvious. It is what it is. You can't. I don't know how to explain this. Like, the mental thing is obviously the biggest part of it. The biggest problem with this team is mentally. Like, that's literally the biggest problem. But how do you address it? Like, how do you fix it? It's what people talk about all the time. Nick Saban was a trailblazer in this. Brought in sports psychologists. I've been talking about this. I really talked about this a lot before last year, obviously, because we were 13-0 and we had all this culture built up. I thought it was done. I thought we had climbed that mountain and we're going to be pretty good. You might have a bit of complacency, but no, it's just completely lost. It's gone. Defense found a little bit, but they've just got to find it again. They've got to start back. And the easiest way to do that is going with youth. The easiest way is going with youth, unfortunately. Memphis with Silverfield and Hennigan is a beast. I don't know what next season will be, but we are set up good this season. I hear you, bro. I mean, y'all only put up 20 points on like the worst defense in the country, but y'all are pretty good. But no, I think the offense is pretty good. I think y'all's issue on Memphis when y'all play a decent team better than Florida State is going to be what I said going into this game and what I've said multiple times on this broadcast. The only reason FSU had a chance to win is because y'all got a pass to open up the run. And if you came in, if you ran into a team that actually knew how to play, like Florida State's defense or basically y'all's defense, Hennigan, we'll see. He's definitely a beast, and he's way better than our quarterback. But again, I think if you switch Hennigan and DJU, I think Florida State blows out Memphis in this game. That was a big difference. But yeah, shout out to Memphis. Hopefully y'all can win the AAC. Is it? They're called this day, American Athletic Conference. Hopefully y'all win that and can get a chance to be in the playoffs and all that. But I don't know. It's hard for me to tell what Memphis is because Florida State sucks so damn bad. Is it normal for any college football fans to not have an appetite? To actually not want to eat after your team truly sucks? I guess. Um, yeah, that's definitely something that happens to me. I have no appetite. I found that during the game. I should have been starving, but I had no appetite. So yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Will FSU win one of the next 3 games against Cal, SMU, or Clemson? I don't know, man. What do you think? I'm a fortune teller? I'm gonna predict nothing. I'm not gonna predict it, man. I have no idea. I'll predict it when it comes time. I've picked us to win the first 3 games, and we've lost them all. I didn't feel real confident in this one. I picked it 31-27, and I said just as likely, whatever. I'll give it 51% our way, 49% Memphis's way. It wasn't quite that. We hit the under again, but a similar, an 8-point game. Pretty close. No cigar. But yeah, Cal, after what we saw from them taking down Auburn, I don't know. I would have told you hell yeah before the season. I get it. People get it out. People are telling us this. People are telling us that. It was everybody. You find somebody besides a troll or somebody who hates FSU that, Vegas had us at 9.5. Like, I don't, whatever. Get your trolls off. It is what it is, man. Everybody was wrong. Losers, man. These guys, losers. Scum of the fan base. Like, it's like, this sucks for us. Don't get me wrong. This is terrible. It's a nightmare. But we still went 13-0 in the ACC last year. We got screwed out of a playoff berth, but we still won the national title in 2013. We still got all these BC. Like, we can remember success. We can see light at the end of the tunnel. Miami they're acting wild out here. Y'all were never getting Ward. He was always coming to Miami. Yeah, so that's why he was at Florida State all that time, and then tried to get into the NFL because he was going to Miami the whole time. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I got you. He was going to Miami the whole time. Whatever. Stop living in the past. Isn't that what you always tell Miami fans? Sure. Yeah. 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 But there's a big difference in a couple months ago and 20 years ago, my friend. It's been 2 decades. I hope y'all get it this year, man. I really do. FSU needs to play for their future now. Absolutely. Taggart would be a major upgrade. Definitely not. Keep shopping. You must not have been around for the Taggart era. Holy moly. Taggart, you looking back on that shit, Taggart, he got quite a bit of talent. It's crazy the talent he had. It wasn't great. It wasn't college football playoff, but those names and what they did in the NFL and things of that nature, and even the ones who didn't pan out, like Tamorrion Terry and things. Could you imagine Tamorrion Terry on this team? Holy shit. He'd be the best. Tamorrion Terry would be the best wide receiver by a country mile on this team, amongst plenty of other different players. Who do you have at running back? Probably had better, like the whole 9 yards. It is what it is. I'm not going to go down that road. Gary West is at this point, let's just win 6 games. Hey, Clay Fink put out an article saying we were a 3-win team from what we've seen. From what we've seen on the field and what he's seen getting to go to the practices that he gets to go as an intern at 247, 3-win team. I don't think we're a 3-win team. I think it's going to be, at this point, fighting for bowl eligibility. I do think we're that. That's what it's going to be, fighting for bowl eligibility. And yeah, 5 or 6 games, we'll see. But what we've seen, if we play like what we've seen, we'll be lucky to get 3 wins. That's not, keep chopping, dude. No, got to get prime at any cost. Holy moly. No. Nope. Now, if we get prime as recruiting coordinator in some facet besides head coach, shit, give me prime all day. He's going to blow everything up. Head coach, maybe he could make it work at Florida State, but from what I've seen how he's handled his business out there, there is no way. No way. It would be pretty funny, though. It would be fun to watch. I'll say this. It would be fun to watch the credentialed media squirm. Could you imagine the FSU credentialed media having to deal with Deion Sanders at the podium? Woo! Oh man, you just go down the list. Like, and I love a lot of these guys, but I'm pretty critical of their quote unquote demographics, if you will, of the three majors. Um, Not many people that played the game are of certain tints of skin, so I'll leave it at that. Dion can't get an O line either. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, K Dog. Like, the thing is, like, I don't know if he can build an O line because you can't build an O line in 1-2 years like he's done. He literally brought in a group of guys, boop, talked all this crazy crap about him. Like, pretty much, you got my son hurt. Y'all aren't this. Y'all sent him out and brought him again. Like, I don't think he ever cared to build one. I can be totally wrong, and when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. If he shows up and he's the coach of Game 1, Year 3 at Colorado, I will, apologize. I'm not going to apologize for how I handled all the stuff. I don't agree, but I will apologize with him, saying he didn't mean to stay there and he was just there for those three kids and everything. You know, Shiloh, Travis, Shador, they're all going to the NFL after this year. If he stays at Colorado, okay. But just ask yourself what this team would be without those three people. How good would this Colorado team be? They're already, I don't even know what to predict because the Big Five is basically Big Five. The Big 12 is basically half G5 teams at this point. Half still damn good teams that'll have to play like Nebraska that kick their butt. But there could definitely be some wins against UCF, y'all name them, the new Big 12 teams that are a bit, recently moved up to the big leagues. So we'll see. The team won't quit on Dion. What the hell, boy? You need to go watch Colorado last year. Won't quit on Dion. You don't get beat how they get beat without quitting. Them boys quit in certain instances. We'll see. It is. I'm not trying to I'm not an absolute crazy go out of my way to hate on Dion. Like, as I said, I am a fan of him at FSU and stuff. But like, if we're talking crap and trolling online and you're asking my opinion, I'm not a fan of the way he does things. Though I do understand it moves the needle. I mean, look what Shannon Sharp did. That moved the needle for him. That was big. I'm just not a big fan of it. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. I don't know if LSU beat South Carolina or not, but yeah, I was hoping for mayhem. I was hoping maybe BC could win, maybe that, but yeah. Florida Gators. I haven't seen the 3 games, but being 0-3, could it be ACC officiating screwing over FSU because they won out? There's some of that going on. It's absolutely ridiculous, the calls. If there's a quarterback or a late hit, roughing the passer, targeting, if there's anything even close, if they can get it, it's on Florida State. And so maybe a Memphis fan will have to tell me, or maybe somebody who's not a fan of Florida State or Memphis that watched the game. But Florida State ain't getting them calls. DJU and that last touchdown we scored, knee down. Like, he took an effing knee. Gets up, gets hit, whistles blowing, still getting hit, whistles blowing, trying to pull a football, whistles blowing, throw him on the ground. No flag. No, whatever. It is what it is. You can't get blocked into your punter. And if you're the punter there, you got to get out of the way. But we got a true freshman out there because of injuries. And we don't have any punt returners. So yeah, he was a nightmare. I'm not even gonna say his name. It's not his fault, but he was a nightmare at punt returner. There's so many different things, so many different lanes on special teams, on defense, on offense that could have won this game. Most of which being offense because the defense played relatively well. It is what it is. You couldn't have expected any more out of the defense from what you've seen early in the year. Situationally, it was pretty damn tough. But they did as good a job as they could to not have Lundy caught in those situations. Again, if your defense holds the team to 20 points, when you gave them the ball in the red zone multiple times, and they only give up 20, you put up 12, that's on the offense. And again, the offensive line has been bad. They haven't been great. I'm not caping for them or nothing. But that offensive line played well enough to score more than 20 points against Memphis. And that's a fact, Jack. That is a fact. I don't care what anybody wants to know. DJ Lundy got to sit. Hope Riley okay. Derek needs to go. Shannon got to go. Couple more maybe. Can't have 3 turnovers. Let me go through this. Lundy is not going to sit. We can't afford to have him sit. You can talk about him moving back to his spot as a third linebacker, see if that can light a fire under his butt and come off the bench and be an impact player, be somebody to come in situationally. That way, he's just going into rush. He can pretend like he's dropping back in practice, but he's coming into rush. Or, he's got a one-on-one with a guy they know he can cover, whatever the case may be. So I do agree. It probably needs to be Blake and Juice going forward with Lundy as the third, but you can't sit him, especially with everybody hurt that you got. So, Shannon, I've been very vocal on that. Derek Ray has taken a lot of heat. He's taken it from people on my show. He's taken it from a ton of people on Twitter. I was always a big Derek Ray fan. I've written articles. I've talked a lot about what his approach was and how he's done his job as a general manager. It didn't happen this year. If I'm being 100% honest, this offseason, as we get closer and closer to our dreams and goals of being close to the team and all these things covering the team, I'm going to really dig in and talk to some people and find out better kind of how these things happen, how the operation is at Florida State and just college football in general. Because I don't know how much is Derek Ray really affecting recruiting and who gets picked up. In my mind, he's the one that looks at the big picture, gets all the numbers together, brings everything together. Maybe we'll touch some base, find out if this person, FSU even has a shot before we do this and do that. But you're paying an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and 8 other coaches, top coaches in the world, that are like recruiting is 90% of the job. Like, I have a hard time putting it all on Ray. But here's the thing. Here's what I will say. Derek Ray makes whatever he makes, yada, yada. It's a lot easier to fire a general manager off-field position than it is to fire an offensive coordinator or this and that coach. So when the end of the season comes and you're looking at improving recruiting, whatever your overhaul, yeah, hell yeah. If that's what it is, if you got to kick Derek Ray to the curb to hire like the baddest ass GM in the game, some great up-and-coming evaluator of talent or whatever the case may be, that's fine. But this is the same staff. This is the same staff who recruited the portal better than anybody in the nation and hit pretty well on their, some of their high school guys. The high school is shit. It's pretty bad, but it has gotten better year over year. That's the issue. If you show no improvement, it starts going the other way. That's when I have an issue. But when I see it steadily getting better every single year, and this year, far and away, the best high school recruiting class we've had yet, I'm happy. I was pretty happy this year, but what I said was it's unacceptable what is happening at defensive end, D tackle, and offensive tackle. That part is unacceptable. You could have kept damn near the whole staff together. You could have kept Pat or Odell. You could have kept Thomason or Dugans. You could have kept this person or that person. But what we have is the same freaking person. The same 5 guys on offense and defense. Same personality, same everything. And look, that's great. If you get to raise a family from hatchlings, you get to all grow together. Everybody learns how Uncle Randy is. All this thing naturally comes together. You have 4 years, and that's what we saw in 2013 or 23. We saw that culmination of it all coming together. But we found out right now, you go turn on Georgia Tech's tape and what they look like with Bill O'Brien and damn good coaches as far as coaching the fundamentals of the game with no talent. 6 blue chips the last 4 years. You go look at how those players are coached up, and you go look at how our players are coached up, and you go look at our recruiting, it don't match. There's nothing. I said all offseason, I was laughing. Florida? Y'all worried about Florida in recruiting? Wait till the season gets here. They're going to win 4 games, so we don't have to worry about that shit anymore. Worst case scenario, we have a terrible season and win 8 or 9 games, but we're probably win 10, 11. I picked us to go 12-0. We got a real shot because ain't nobody got more talent than us in the ACC except for maybe Miami. And we've seen what they've done with talent the past 20 years. They've had more talent than us the majority of the time the past 20 years. Still got that ass whooped. So I don't, you know, it is what it is. They missed. We screwed up. The whole thing's over. But the people that want Norvell fired right now, I vehemently disagree. I don't think we're there. But he is to the point where you call him to the office and be like, dude, what's going on? Why don't you fire these guys? Why don't you do this? Why don't you give Brock Glenn a chance? Like, it's hard to, you don't micromanage a guy. You just gave him $10 million a year. He's not going anywhere. But I don't know how there wasn't a come to Jesus meeting yet or whatever. And maybe I'm completely off base and, they're just going to stick with DJ another couple weeks or something. But it's deja vu, man. Deja vu watching these games. You just see the train coming. You call it. You're sitting there and, oh, here's what's going to happen, and it happens. I should not be able to do that. I should. I don't know enough of. I'm not enough of a master. I did not play in the NFL. I don't know my things, but I should not know that a linebacker just completely whiffed on his assignment. I shouldn't be able to do it that easy. I shouldn't be able to know a running back didn't go where the play was designed to go. I shouldn't be able to look and see what in the hell are we checking into a run for? Here's what I'm hollering. One of those third downs, it's like 3rd and 4, long 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and 5. They've got 9 guys in the box, man coverage, no safeties. Big part of the game now. You just straight up hand up, off all the, no bounce out, nothing. Just a freaking ISO right down the middle. Goes nowhere, not back. Like, what? Everybody and their brother. Now, people on the timeline said they think he checked into that. It was a pass, and he checked into that run. If DJU checked into that run, how did he ever get another snap? I'm done. I'm done crying and moaning, guys, but that's how I feel. That's all I wanted people to know how I feel. I love Florida State football. Big fan of Mike Norvell. I love all the coaches on staff. I love all the boosters, everybody that's a part of it. Like, I have love for them as human beings. And when I get to go down there and hang out in the Champions Club, tailgates with James Coleman, CJ Wilson, Spear Addicts, going to check out the battles in Spear Addicts, going to hear Mike Norvell fire us up at the Moon. It would have been, now that I'm thinking about it, it would have been better if there would have been strippers there, because everything he said was total bullshit. But stuff like that, I love it. Love all these guys. I'm a big Florida State, my whole life. It's been a dream of mine to, like, I used to say, if I hit the lottery, because I wasn't in a situation, I had to go straight to work when I was 15, so I couldn't go there. Couldn't use my brains and go get a scholarship or run cross country, which I could have done, things of that nature. I had to get a job when I was 16. So, I quit all my varsity sports and went to work. That's just the life that I had. No big deal. But I said, if I hit the lottery, I'm going to buy a mansion, become the platinum chief, the biggest donor. I'm going to go to FSU and take whatever classes and just go to Florida State for 10 years, get a doctorate, and just be around the football program. Try to do what our guy Clay Fink is doing over at 247, things of that nature. That was my dream. Just be able to retire at Florida State and be like Bert Kreischer for 10 years. I ended up doing it this way. It was completely like, I didn't set out to, like, take advantage of something or do this or do that. I just went on a space with Chris Frazier and Pete the Greek and a couple other people. I didn't realize it was the first one. I just thought they invited me on. How a space is, you hit the thing, and I thought I was just getting invited because they wanted to get people to come to the show. But no, Pete gave me the mic, made me like a co-host, and me, him, and Chris and Seymour and a couple other guys, like, that was the first show, and that went on for like a year. Started posting them on here. We came up with our own space called FSU Real Talk, launched the Renegade Report channel, and it's been crazy. I've made some amazing friends, acquaintances, people that played for Florida State. We've had some, like, crazy, amazing people on the channel. Mark gave me this opportunity at the very beginning. I actually started out writing articles. I needed an outlet. I was seeing things going on, and I felt so passionately about it. Seeing kind of the stuff that was out there, and I was reading it. I was like, "What is this? Like, this is like anybody could write this." It just seems like the most. And I'm not going to throw any names out there or anything, but long story short, here I am. I'm obviously a homer, but I fancy myself semi-intelligent. I like to break things down. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I was wrong about this season, just about a lot, like a lot of people were. But I will still be here next week. I'll be a Florida State fan for life. I might have the game muted and on my cell phone while I watch anime on my TV, but whatever. I'll be singing sad country songs or whatever. But yeah, that's about it. Win or lose or tie, Knowles till I die. We're crumbling the season. It hurts watching, no doubt. Look, if you didn't love it, it wouldn't hurt. You wouldn't care. And like that's what I say about Alex Atkins when people are like, "Oh, well, Alex Atkins, who cares if he's not there? He's at practice." Well, if he didn't matter, you wouldn't be bitching about it. You wouldn't be getting paid $1 million, $2 million, whatever he's making. All these things. You wouldn't be considered this hot commodity for up and coming in the profession. I just don't understand. Tony Tokars is another one of the guys who's supposed to be that. So if that's what he is, I think it's pretty clear he's not going to be able to change DJU. Let Tony Tokars go to work on the young quarterbacks. Put him in the game. Looks like we got a super chat here way late in the game. I wasn't even sure if we were able to get super chats. But I'm gonna love FSU till death do me part. But damn, my guy Kareem Abdul, we appreciate that super chat, man. We really do. And yeah, that's how it is. But you got to be honest with it, man. There's like we are emotional creatures. It is what it is. We called a period of time that would have been the best period of football in other places' entire history. We call it the lost decade. I had to go look up what happened, everything that Florida State won in the 2000s, but I can guarantee you there's a lot of teams like out there, like maybe Ole Miss. I can name whatever that Florida State won more in that decade than any damn, not any damn, but a lot of teams ever. So that's the lost decade. So then you go to those 4 years from the end of Jimbo to the first 2 years of Mike before things turned around. That's probably the worst 4 years in FSU's history. If you take out, the very beginning when they were breaking in 100 years late, or whatever the case may be. Wait, wasn't FSU's O-line in 2013 good during the BCS run? Yeah, they were good, but they weren't. It wasn't like a big strength of the team. Like it was always. You got to remember, like Jacob Fair and Krug, and like it was tough. It was tough. Lander Dickerson could never get healthy. He played like one game for Florida State. But yeah, that 2013 year especially, we had a pretty damn solid like pro O line. But we were never just blowing people off the line or things of that nature. That year, 2013, we were really good. 2014 started out struggling, and they took Cam Irving and moved him from tackle to center, and that changed everything. All of a sudden, he was just blowing through double teams on the inside and opening up runs. And Dalvin Cook was just a phenom, and it didn't take much. So he'd either blow through the middle or bounce it outside. But yeah, we were never Nebraska or whatever, just rolling downhill and relying on that offensive line. We had Rodney Hudson, who was an absolute beast at center. He pretty much, I think he's a Hall of Famer. He should be in the NFL, Silver Hall pros and things of that nature that graduated in 12. And then 13, we had Irving and some guys like Josue Matias, Brian Stork. And these are guys who, like Stork came in and was able to start immediately for the Patriots, help him win a Super Bowl. But that was it for his career. I don't know whether it was concussions or hit a wall or whatever the case may be, but yeah, super, super, super. Like compared to this offensive line, yeah, they were amazing. But as far as college football, that would probably, I'd say that's the linebacker. No, the linebackers were nasty. That was just kind of, it felt that way because that was the one space in Pruitt's defense where he would leave people an opportunity was to throw it over the middle. But no, that offensive line, compared to the quarterback and the running backs and the wide receivers and things, yeah, that offensive line was not the focal point. That's for sure. I mean, that goes without question. I don't know if he was the best. Like, I was too young. I can't remember like how good he played in college, but yeah, he went to the NFL and was like next level. But Rodney Hudson is he's very good. Looking through here, we're over an hour. Whatever. I got on a bit of a roll here. I want to make lost y'all for a second there, but I want to make sure I get everybody's questions answered in there. Appreciate you, Kevin. Um, you know, it's like you wonder, you wonder. You think you know something, and then you have a month like with this month we've had, and then you start to wonder. That's going on with DJU. That's going on with Mike Norvell, the whole thing. But the good the good news is we get Alex Atkins back, which is great. So we'll see what happens there. I'm gonna apologize right now. I know this isn't the best quality. My freaking mic crapped out on me a little while ago, and I'm not able to get one till this month's grub comes in here in about 10 days. So deal with me for a little bit, but I got 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 some good things coming. We're gonna improve the experience here at the FSU Voice of College Football post game, and also over on my channel. Look, I appreciate you guys so much for joining us. I think I've covered just about all of it, and this one will be fun. Probably people clip this thing and make fun of me and put it on Twitter, whatever the case may be. But it is what it is. We're gonna stand in the paint. Thanks again for dropping that super chat. Every little bit helps, so we really appreciate that. And I guess I'm gonna leave you out of here. Let's see here. I'm gonna leave you with. Hell, I don't know. I can't find it. I had a video on here, but I lost it. Go Knowles, baby. We'll see you guys next week for the post game show.